Hi guys, Miss Berg again. We are going to be starting 5-2 now. The thing is, and I want to tell you this right now, they're going to show you with base 10 blocks. So I'm just letting you know that ahead of time. However, on your homework tonight, you do not need to use base 10 blocks, but I am going to show you it so you guys you get at least a little bit of understanding on how to do it. So I'm going to be turning it around. I'm going to show you base 10 blocks and about 4 problems or so, and then I'm going to switch it to just regular division. So here we go. I'm going to turn it around so you guys get a full understanding. So here is what is going on. It says Angela has enough wood to make a picture frame with a perimeter of 2 and 4 tenths meters. And she wants the frame to be in a square. What would be the length of each side? Now remember, we're talking about a square. It is saying that the perimeter, the distance around each of these, is 2 and 4 tenths meters, but they want to know what just one side would be. One side is, there is 1 out of 4 sides. So in this case, you need to share your model among how many groups. Well, how many sides are there? There are a total of 4 sides. So we're going to be splitting this 4 ways to figure out what just one side would be. So what they want you to do is to see this in base 10 blocks. So if you remember, 2 and 4 tenths, this is telling you how many holes. That means you have 2 holes. And then this is telling you how many longs. This is 4 longs. Now, they said you're going to divide this 4 ways. Now, here's the thing. Do I have enough holes to split it up 4 ways? This case, I do not. I only have 2 and I needed 4 in order to split it up evenly. So in this case, now what I'm going to do is now I'm going to take one of these holes and now I'm going to break it apart and make and put them into longs. So how many longs are in one of these? There are actually 10. So therefore there is 10 here. And then for this hole, if I broke it apart, it is also going to be 10 as well, 10 longs as well. So then if you go and you count to see how many total longs that is 10 and another 10, that's 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So therefore this one is saying you now have 24 tenths. So since 2 holes cannot be shared among 4 groups without regrouping, cut your model apart and show the tenths. How many tenths are in 2 and 4 tenths? There are actually 24. So I'm going to put in 24 tenths. And then it says share the tenths equally among the 4 groups. So then if you do that, now I'm going to take 4 groups here. And then I'm going to go through and take 24 tenths and see and share them amongst 4 groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So now when I go and I divide it 4 ways, what is in each group? If you look, there are 6 longs or 6 tenths, in other words. So therefore, in each group, there is 6 tenths in each group. So when you share the tenths equally into 4 groups, how many holes are there? Ones are there? There are 0 wholes. But how many tenths are in each group? There are 6 tenths. So therefore, what is the decimal showing the amount in each group? There is actually just showing 6 tenths. So therefore, your answer to this would be 6 tenths. Now, I have an issue with this because you're probably not going to see it this way on the state test. You're going to see it in regular division. So how you do this in regular division is you are just going to be writing it like this. So remember, your first number always goes into the box. Your second number is always your divisor. Now, here's the thing. You need to make sure that your 4 is a whole number. What I mean by whole number is that the decimal is at the end. In this case, the decimal is at the end. So that is perfect. So now we're going to go ahead, and if your decimal is at the end, what I tell my students to do, that means that is exactly what you need. So wherever that decimal is, bring it straight up into the problem. All right, so now we just no longer have to worry about the decimal. It's already in its place. Now we just divide like normal. Remember, with division, use dead monkeys, smell crazy bad. For those of you who don't remember the steps, this means divide, multiply, subtract, and this means check. And this one means bring down. And then when you bring down, you start all over again. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. So can a 4 go into 2? Can 4 go into 2? No. Going by 4s, you will not get to 2. It's too much. So therefore, there is no way going by 4s, because 4 times 1 is 4. It already went over that 2. So therefore, it can go in 0 times. But now I can shift it on over. Can 4 go into 24? And the answer to that is absolutely it can. So if you have your multiplication chart, you can then go ahead and check on that and see how many 4s go into 24. So if you went into your multiplication chart, which I'm getting out right now, how many 4s go into 24? If you go along here, oh, there's 24. When I go to 4, I go to 24, and that is saying 6 times. So therefore, I'm going to go and put a 6 up here. Then you go ahead, and so now I just divided how many 4s go into 24. That is 6 times. Now I multiply. 6 times 4 is 24. Then I subtract. And now I check to make sure that it is smaller than my divisor, which it is. And then is there anything to bring down? Nope. So therefore, my answer is 6 tenths. All right, next. Here's another one. So they're saying Kyle has a roll of ribbon that is 3 21/100 yards long. He cuts the ribbon into 3 equal lengths. How long is each piece of the ribbon? So first of all, what they want you to do is you could have used this method. Me personally, I'm not going to use this method, but it's always there as an option if you need it. You can write out 3 21/100 as a model. That means 3 holes, 2 longs, and 1/100. So now they said that we're going to be splitting this up into 3s. So when you are splitting this 3 ways, is it possible to share? Do we have enough for each whole to be in 3 different groups? And in this case, yes, we do. We have enough for each group to have 1 whole because there's 3 of them. So how many 3s go into 3? It is 1. So actually what I'm going to do while I am explaining this so it makes more sense is I'm going to actually do the division problem and explain it at the same time. So I went ahead of myself. So I'm going to put 3 21/100 in the box because it is listed first. My divisor is 3. So first of all, I need to make sure is Is my divisor a whole number? Yes, it is. So then if it is, then that decimal goes straight up into the problem wherever it's at. Now we no longer have to worry about the decimal. Now we just simply divide. Again, using dead monkeys smell crazy bad. All right, so again, this means divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring down. And when you bring down, you start back up at the top of dividing again. All right, so how many 3s can go into 3? So if you look here, how many 3s will get you to 3? It is 1 time. It can go in once. So this is 1. So that is why I put them each into a group, because each one will have 1 in each group. So now you multiply. 1 times 3 is 3. So now you subtract, that would be 0. Now you check to make sure it is smaller than your divisor. It cannot be equal to or higher. So if it is equal to or higher, that means you could have put in 1 more up here. So it is 0, so that means it's perfect. So now I can go on. Is there something to bring down? Yes, there is a 2 and a 1. However, I can only bring down 1 at a time. So in this case, my next number is a 2, so I'm going to bring that down. When I bring down a number, I start back up at the top. Now going by 3s, can I get to a 2? So going by 3s, will I ever make it to 2? No, I will not. It can't happen. It's too small. So therefore, in this case, it would be 0. Again, how many tenths can be shared amongst all of these? You don't have 3 to give out. However, what you could do is then you could break this up and make it into hundredths. So now you have 20 plus that 1, that is 21 hundredths that you're going to be doing now. So that's what it's saying here. So now we're going to multiply. 3 times 0 is 0. Then you subtract, that would be 2. Check it, we are okay. Bring down your 1. Then you say how many 3s go into the 21. So now you come on over here. 3s to 21, that is 7. So what you could do with this 21 is you could go ahead and once you put 1 into each group until you get to 21, that means 7 hundredths would be in each one. So that is what I did here. I went and I took these 21 and I put them individually into each one until I got to 21. And that means that each one would have 7 hundredths. So therefore, your answer in this case would be 1 and 7 hundredths. Again, you would go 7 times 3 is 21 and subtract it with 0 remaining. So this is your answer, 1 and 7 hundredths. And this is why I am doing it the other way and not using base 10 blocks. I think it is super, super confusing at times. So I am not doing it that way. Now, in this case, it's saying you're going to take 1 6/10 and you're going to divide it 4 ways. Well, it already divided technically 16 longs 4 ways, and it's already telling you what's in each group. How much is in each group? There are 4 tenths. So remember, 4 tenths means this as a decimal. So that would be 4 tenths is your answer. Here, if you looked here, it's already separated for you. It put it into 3 groups. Here's 1 group, here's 2 groups, here's 3 groups. So what is in each group? Well, there is 1 whole. How many tenths? There is only 1. And then how many hundredths? There are 4. So therefore your answer is 1 and 14 hundredths. All right, next, divide, use base 10 blocks. Again, you are not going to be doing this unless you would like to. You may use base 10 blocks if you would like. I'm personally just going to use the division. Again, whatever is listed first needs to be in the box. And then your second number is your divisor. So in this case, is 3 a whole number? Yes, it is. The decimal's at the end. So if that is the case, then that decimal goes straight up where it is, and now you just divide like normal. Can 3 go into 1? Going by threes, will you go and get to 1? No, it is too small. So therefore, that goes in 0 times. So now you come on over, how many threes will go into 18? So now you go by threes to 18. Oh, that is 6 times. So then this would be 6. So then you go 6 times 3 is 18. Subtract, that'd be 0 remaining. So therefore your answer is 6/10. Next, put 36, 3 and 6/10 in the box because it is the first number listed. Here is your divisor. First of all, see if this is a whole number. It is. So then this decimal just goes straight up. And then we divide like normal. Can 4 go into 3? Nope, it is too small. Can 4 go into 36? Yes. So now if you come and look, 4 can go into 36, as close to 36 as possible. Oh, it can go in evenly and 9 times. So therefore that would be 9. So then 9 times 4, we already said, came out to be 36. So then 36 minus 36 is 0. So therefore my answer is 9/10. Here, again, 2 and 5/10 is going to go in the box. 5 is on the outside. All right, so here, can 5 is a whole number because the decimal is at the end. So therefore, we're just going to bring up that decimal straight up where it's at. And then we're going to just divide like normal. Can 5 go into 2? Nope, too small, so it goes in 0 times. Can 5 go into 25? Yes, it can. So it can go in, if you go by 5s, into 25. That goes in 5 times. So then 5 times 5 is 25 with nothing remaining. So your answer is 5/10. Okay, next one. I want you to go ahead and pause this and see if you can do this one on your own. So go ahead and pause and see if you can do this on your own. Okay, so you should have paused to see if you were correct. So I'm just going to quickly go over it. That decimal goes straight up because it is a whole number. 8 can't go into 2, so it'd go in 0 times because it cannot be done, but it can go into 24 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24 with nothing remaining. So therefore your answer is 3/10. All right, now here is the next one. Again, first number goes in the box, second number is our divisor. So since this is a whole number, I'm going to just bring up my decimal. And then I'm going to go ahead and start. Can 3 go into 3? Well, yeah, 3 can go into 3 one time. So remember, dead monkeys smell crazy bad. So now I just divided. Now I'm going to multiply. 1 times 3 is 3. Now I subtract. That would be 0. Now I'm going to check. Is it smaller than my divisor? Yes, it is. So then is there a number to bring down? Yes, there is. So then I can only bring one number down at a time. So since I just brought down a number, I got to start back up at the top again. Now I got to see how many 3s can go as close to 7 as possible without going over 7. So going as close to 7, 6 is as close to 7, but 9 is going over. So therefore it can go in twice without going over. So therefore 3 can go into 7 2 times, is as close to 7 as possible without going over. So now I'm going to put that up here. That goes in twice. So now I'm going to multiply. 2 times your divisor, 3, is 2 times 3 is 6. So I'm going to put that underneath. And now I'm going to subtract. 7 minus 6 is 1. Now I check and make sure it's smaller than my divisor. It cannot be equal to or higher. So it is still smaller, so I'm good. So then if I am good, then I can move on to my next step. Is there something to bring down? Yes, there is. We have another number? We have an 8. So now that I brought down, I got to start back up at the top again. Now is how many 3s go into 18 without going over, as close to 18 without going over? Oh, it goes into 18 equally 6 times. So it's 6. 6 times 3 is 18. Subtract, that'd be 0 remaining. So therefore, my answer is up here, 1 26/100. Next. This is a whole number, so I'm just going to bring up my decimal. Can 7 go into 1? No, it cannot. It goes in 0 times. Can it go into 13? Yes. So since it is bigger than 7, it can go in at least once. So let's see how many times without going over 13. Oh, 14 is going over, so it only goes in once. So I'm going to put a 1 up here. 1 times 7 is 7. Now I'm going to subtract. 3 minus 7, can you do that? No, you cannot. So I'm going to come over and borrow. Now it's 13 minus 7. 13 minus 7 is 6. Check it. We are okay. So then you bring down your 3. How many 7s now go into 63? So going by 7s is close to 63 without going over 63. Oh, it goes in exactly 9 times. So then this is a 9. 9 times 7 is 63 with nothing remaining. So therefore your answer is 1900. Next, this is 4 72/100 divided by 4. All right, so first of all, can you go ahead and first make sure you are, this is a whole number, and it is. So I'm just going to first bring it straight up into the problem where it is. All right, now can 4 go into 4? Can a 4 go into 4? Yes. How many times? Once. So now we multiply. 4 times 1 is 4. Subtract, like here's our steps. That would be 0. Now we check and make sure it's smaller than our divisor, which it is. So then you bring down your next number. This is 7. Then you start back up at the top. How many 4s can get as close to 7 without going over 7? Well, 8 is going over, so it can't go in that, but it can go in only once. So I'm going to put a 1 up here. And then 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract, that would be 3. Check it. We are okay because we are smaller. Do we have a number to bring down? Yes, we do. It is a 2. So then we start back up at the top. How many 4s go into 32? How many 4s go into 32? It goes in 8 times. So then 8 times 4 is 32 with nothing remaining. So therefore your answer is 1 1800. Okay, next. Here is your next one. First of all, since this is a whole number, we're going to bring it straight up. How many 9s can go into 2? It's not big enough, so it can't go in any. How many can go into 25? So going by 9s as close to 25 as you can without going over. This is going over, so as close as I could get is twice. Because 2 times 9 is 18. Okay, so can I have 5 and take away 8? No, I cannot. So I have to come over and borrow. This is now 15 minus 8, which is 7. Then I check it. I am okay. So then is there a number to bring down? Yes, there is a 2. So then I start back up at the top. How many 9s now go into 72? So going by 9s, how close to 72 can you get without going over? It is 8 times. 8 times 9 is 72. Subtract, that'd be 0. So that your answer would be 2800. Next, this one in our box is 6 2500 divided by 5. So here is a whole number, so that decimal needs to go straight up. How many 5s go into 6? That is just 1. 1 times 5 is 5. Subtract, that would be 1. Check it, we are good, so we can bring down our next number. How many 5s go into 12? As close to 12 as possible without going over. I can get it to go in twice. So 2 times 5 is 10. So then when you subtract, that would be a 2. Check it, we are smaller, so I'm going to bring down my next number, which is a 5. Then you start back up at the top of dividing. How many 5s now go into 25? So going by 5s, how close to 25 can you get without going over? That is 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25 with nothing remaining. So therefore, your answer is 1 25/100. All right, so the next one that we are going to be talking about, it just says we will do this one up here. So it says Ada is making banners from a roll of paper that is 4 5/100 meters long. She will cut the paper into 3 equal lengths. She uses the base 10 block to model how long each piece will be. Describe Ada's error. All right, so in order to do this, what I would do first is to actually do what is supposed to be done. So what it's saying is she has a paper that is 4 5/100 long, and you're going to divide it by 3 equal lengths. So when you do this, I'm going to actually do the division here so I can see what's going on. So first thing, I'm going to move it up. Can 3 go into 4? Yes, 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract, that be 1. Check it. Am I good? Yes, I am. So I'm going to bring down my next number. How many 3s can go into 10 without going over 10? As close to 10 as possible without going over 10. It is only 9, so that would be 3 times. So 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract, that would be a 1. Check it. We are okay. So I'm going to bring down my next number, which is a 5. How many 3s can go into 15? It would be 5. 5 times 3 is 10 with 0 remaining. So it's saying that each group should have 1 35/100. So let's look. Well, we have 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hundredths. So what was her error? Her error is she is missing 3/10 from each group. So we can say the error is each group is missing 3/10. Okay. All right. So real quick, just because of time, I'm going to just show you the other things and just briefly talk about them. It says Sam can ride his bike 4 5/10 miles and 4 5/10 kilometers in 9 minutes, and Amanda can ride her bike 3 6/10 kilometers in 9 minutes. Which rider will might go farther in 1 minute? So here you would have to divide to see what that is per minute. So you would divide these, and then if you divided it, it would have been 5/10 a minute. And then with Amanda, if you divide 3 6/10 divided by 6, that comes out to be 6/10 kilometers per minute. So it's saying which rider might go farther in 1 minute. So which one goes farther? The farther distance, which one is bigger, 5/10 of a kilometer or 6/10 of a kilometer? It is definitely 6/10 of a kilometer is larger. So therefore, Amanda goes farther. It says, how can you use inverse operations to find the answer to this? Well, you would equal n. Well, in order to do this, you would have to go backwards. What is the opposite of dividing? It is multiplying. So therefore, in order to figure this out, you would do n times 3 should equal your 1 and 8/10. So if you were doing this, you would just then go ahead and divide these two to figure it out, and it would come out to be 6/10. All right, next one, it says draw a model to show this and to solve. Well, you did not have to. I just decided to divide because I like that way better. But then I just showed the models. Once you divide, it came out to be 1 and 2/10 in each one. So I just put 1 whole in each one because 4 can go into 4 one time in each group. And then 4 can go into 8 twice. So that would be 2/10 because the decimal is right there. So then each one would have 1 and 2/10 in each group. All right, now you're going to go over to your homework. Here we go. All right, so keep in mind how to divide is dead monkeys smell crazy bad. For those people who don't know how to divide, just keep in mind the steps are divide. This one means multiply. This one means subtract. This one means check and make sure that when you subtract, that answer is smaller than your divisor. And then this one means bring down. And when you bring down, you start back up at the top. All right, so in this case, I'm just going to do this one with you because it's saying to take 3 and 69/100 divided by 3 ways. So if you do this, it's already done for you. This is already divided up into 3 groups. So if you did this, each group is going to have 1 whole. How many tenths is next? Because this is your tenths place. There are 2/10. And then this is telling you how many hundredths. And there are 3. So therefore your answer is 1 and 23/100. Okay, now this one says divide and use base 10 blocks. You can cross out base 10 blocks. You don't have to use them. You may certainly do so, but you don't have to. But your homework for this one is going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10. You can cross out 11. Now, why did I not circle this one? Is because we are going to go over that one right now. So again, the first number goes in the box. Second number is your divisor. So first of all, you check and make sure that this is a whole number. It is, so therefore I'm going to bring up my decimal exactly where it's at. And now I'm going to divide like normal. So can 7 go into 3? Going by 7s, will you ever get to 3? No, it is too small. So therefore that cannot happen. But can at least a 7 go into 30? Yes. So now I got to see as close to 30 without going over. As close to 30 as I can get is 28. That is 4 times. So then 4 times 7 is 28. Then you subtract 30 minus 28 is 2. Check it. We are okay. So then you bring down your next number. So now how many 7s go into 21? How many 7s go into 21 is 3 times. So therefore 3 times 7 is 21, and you subtract, that would be 0. So therefore your answer would be 43/100. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the back. The back very quickly. You are going to do 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we are going to do number 1 together. Number 1 says write a division sentence that tells what this model represents. Well, in order to do this, first of all, you can tell that this is already put into two groups. So we know that we're going to be dividing it two ways. But first of all, in order to figure this out, I should be combining this to see what it comes out to be. So how many wholes are there total? There are 2 wholes. Then how many tenths are there? There are 2, so that would be 2. And then total, how many hundredths? There's 2 here plus another 2, so that would be 4 hundredths. So this is our original number, 2 and 24 hundredths. And then you're going to divide them amongst how many groups? Well, it's already separated into groups for you. It is 2 groups. And then each group has how much in it? It has 1 whole, 1 tenth, and 2 hundredths. So in order to write that, that'd be 1 whole, 1 tenth, and 2 hundredths. So that is our answer. All right, so that is the end of 5-2. I'm just letting you know we are skipping 5-3. So we will not be doing this because this is estimation of quotients. So the next one that we will be getting into is 5-4. So I will see you guys later. Bye.